Beneath the romantic streets of Paris lies a dark labyrinth that holds the remains of over 6 million souls, a hidden city of bones where endless tunnels stretch for miles, decorated with carefully arranged skulls and femurs of those long forgotten. Welcome to the Paris Catacombs, where the line between the living and the dead grows impossibly thin. In these pitch-black corridors, where even your footsteps echo like whispers from the past, urban explorers tell tales of shadowy figures that vanish around corners, and mysterious voices that call out in the darkness. Some say time itself behaves differently down here in this underground empire of the dead. So, dear listener, are you brave enough to descend with me into Paris's most haunting secret?
Beneath the streets of Paris lies a world few dare to explore. A labyrinth of darkness where the walls themselves are made of bone. Millions of skulls and skeletons, silently watching you as you wander deeper into the abyss. Some say the catacombs are more than just a resting place for the dead. They're a gateway, a place where shadows move, whispers linger in the cold, and if you listen closely, you might hear the footsteps of those who've never made it out. Tonight, we journey into the depths of the City of Light to uncover the darkness beneath. This is This Real? The Paris Catacombs. From the Keith Vincent Carroll Studios in Paterson, New Jersey, Green Arrow Media proudly presents Is This Real? Tonight, journey with us into the Paris Catacombs. And now your host, JC.
Welcome, everybody, to another fantastic episode of Is This Real?
Is this real?
Is this real?
Tonight's episode, as you heard Big Joe say, we're talking about the Paris Catacombs with my special little 1940s microphone. In the booth tonight, we do have Pope Tony. Say hello.
I'm the Pope.
We do have Big Joe. Big Joe, say hello.
Hello, Big Joe.
And we also have a special guest tonight, our uncle from across the nation, the wizard himself. What's up, Uncle Artie?
What's up? What's up?
It's your first time being on an episode in a while. I think for like season 2 or something like that. You were on the episode. Yeah, so if you've been listening. Yes, if you've been listening to our podcast for a while, you know Uncle Artie. He was on. I forgot what episode it was. What episode was he on?
Pine Bush.
Yes, I was talking about a girl I knew in Pine Bush in that episode. So the Paris Catacombs, everybody. What do we know? What have we learned? I have some information here, as Anthony likes. So I use the Chat GPT. Spoiler alert. But what does everybody at least know about the Paris Catacombs? And Uncle Artie, we'll start off with you. What was your, when you first heard about it, or if you read about it anywhere?
Well, I wanted to go and check it out for years. I don't know. It's a little creepy, but a little cool. I don't think you have to go down there with a bottle opener. There's enough skulls and shit that'll, it's fascinating how the cemetery they were in fell apart, but yet they put this in sandstone and it's held up for hundreds of years.
It is crazy.
I agree with you. It's fucking creepy. Dad, we'll go to you. What about you?
Unlike my brother from another over there, I never wanted to visit this place. I'm not as daring as he is. I did read about it. I did about the skulls and the skeletons and all this stuff. And I didn't know about what Arthur just said. So, yeah, it's just fucked up how shit like this gets to be preserved in history over so much time. And then becomes like a tourist trap, or becomes a place where we can go and, and see what the hell's going on. But I knew about it a while ago. It was never one of those things that was on my bucket list as far as going to see it or anything. I did find it fascinating, though. So that's pretty much my story with it.
All right, Pope?
It's one of those things that always comes up on like the Travel Channel during like October, when they're pushing all their spooky shit. The Catacombs of Paris. I do know that there was a theater in the Catacombs of Paris. So what they did was they would bring like a projector and a bunch of people. No, they didn't really tell. It was one of those like weird cult things. You had to be in the know in order to know about it, So they would like screen movies with a projector in the catacombs because it's massive. Like you can get lost in the Catacombs of Paris because it's so big. And they would gather and watch movies, and the cops found them once. and it was just like one cop doing his patrol and shit. And he went to get like more people, more cops. And when he came back, everyone was gone, but there was a note that said, "Do not try to find us. You never will." So it's one of those weird fucking things. But yeah, there's like 6 million people buried. Are they buried? Do you consider it buried? They are underground, but like they're kind of just hanging out, and they're all exposed and shit.
I wouldn't want to be there.
What I find interesting about is the limestone and stuff like that. Most of the buildings that are in Paris are now actually made of sediment that they found in those catacombs. They made them into, plaster of Paris. They made them into, the Louvre has got stuff. The great museum over there, or I think it's a museum, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Their buildings over there are made from, them going down into these places and digging up the limestone. It serves its purpose as far as what it keeps giving to people. And my question is, does anybody have any clue on how the hell these bodies got there?
People died.
Thanks.
You got to put them somewhere.
So they use it as a burying ground.
They were running out
Very
of room
good.
in the cemetery, and then the walls of the cemeteries actually started falling in, collapsing. So they needed someplace to put them. And one article I read said they were just taking them and dumping them down. Where the catacombs are was an old mine, and they were just dumping them in a mine. And someone said, "Hey, let's make them fancy." And there's like a little shy of 200 miles of catacombs.
Oh, dear God.
There was some French.
That's a lot of dead motherfuckers, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, over 6 million. But I'm sure there was like some French like interior decorator like, "This is not good. Erase the bones. Take them out of the pile. We'll put them on the wall. It will be beautiful.
Fucking don't start, my God.
And then we shall charge everybody an arm on a leg to go down here and look at the bones."
Well,
I was kind of
let's get
expecting this.
Yeah, I mean,
Give
it's
me
either
the
German
skull.
or French. But let's get into the little history, the history of it. So
The French preserved 6 million people. The Germans, what they did with 6 million people is a much different story.
All right. For the love of God, no. So the Paris Catacombs are a vast underground ossuary beneath the streets of Paris, holding the remains of over 6 million people. Their origins trace back to the late 18th century when the city faced a crisis. Its cemeteries were overflowing. For centuries, Parisians buried their dead in local cemeteries, largest being the Cimetière des Innocents, which had been in use since the Middle Ages. By the 1700s, the cemetery became dangerously overcrowded. Graves were stacked on top of each other, and bodies often weren't given enough time to decompose before new burials took place.
It was overcrowded. The people were just dying to get in.
This caused horrific sanitary issues. Rotting corpses contaminated the soil and nearby water supplies, creating a health hazard. Residents began complaining of the awful stench of death wafting through the air. In 1780, part of that cemetery collapsed, as Uncle already said, spilling the decomposing bodies into the basement of a neighboring building. This gruesome event forced the Parisian government to take action. The Paris underground quarries from which one of the stone used to build the city had been extracted, formed a sprawling maze beneath the city. Officials decided to convert these tunnels into an ossuary to solve the overcrowding crisis. It began in 1786. Over the next 2 years, workers exhumed bodies from cemeteries across Paris, transferring them into the catacombs at night to avoid public outcry. Initially, the bones were stacked haphazardly, but by the early 19th century, the catacombs were transformed into a more organized ossuary. Skulls and femurs were carefully arranged into elaborate patterns along the walls, creating the haunting decorative bone wall seen today. The catacombs weren't just a burial site, they became a place of mystery and legend. Secret societies, urban explorers known as cataphiles, not you, Anthony, and even wartime resistance fighters have used the tunnels over the centuries. Today, the Paris Catacombs remain a chilling reminder of the city's past, drawing curious tourists and daring explorers. But as the stories go, some who venture into the dark never find their way back. Though there are stories of that. There are people who have gotten lost under the Paris Catacombs. We'll talk about that more later in the episode. But overall, first thoughts, let's get into the mysteries and stuff like that, because there have been, like they said, secret societies that have apparently been under there, ghosts, hauntings, and stuff like that. And with over 6 million dead people, you would expect some type of haunting to be in there.
Not only that, there's also the idea of like limestone has some sort of mythical properties to contact the dead or some bullshit.
Yes.
In the world of ghost hunting, it does. It's supposed to be like some kind of a conduit, that water, So yeah, if you have a high concentrate of limestone at a particular place, the theory is that it makes it easier for the spirits to manifest. So, but I mean, with a whole catacomb of this shit,
why am I losing internet?
There has to be spooky shit down there. Sorry. That's just got to be that's a gimme.
I mean, I'm looking at this like, okay, obviously they had a problem. They were not, to make it as simple as possible, they're trying to stuff 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound bag, right? Cemetery's overrun. What do? Well, you could have just like opened a new cemetery, but 6 million people is a lot. So instead you bury them and you in a mine shaft. Makes sense. You're just burying them deeper.
Does, but True. It sounds crazy to me. The whole concept, 6 million people. I mean, that's a lot of people.
I wonder if any families sued.
That's centuries of fucking dead people.
Like, hear this, right? What if, like, I went one day to go visit someone who died and, like, the body's not there anymore because they moved it into the catacombs? Do I have, can I sue the city? Be like, which one is Henrique? And they're like, we don't know. He's just wall art now. They're in there. Good luck finding him. It's like, motherfucker. I would think that someone tried to sue Paris and they just didn't give a fuck.
Well, one of the things I was looking at said when everything caved in, now you have 1,000 people, all the bones are just in a pile. You couldn't identify if you had to.
Right.
So anyone looking to sue is shit out of luck.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you got to say enough is enough, and fuck the identification. These are guys. Let them go.
They could have went the easier route because what they did in New Orleans in those 2 cemeteries is they would lay a motherfucker out in like the catacomb, and then after 6 months when they decayed, they'd stuff them in like a little Ziploc bag and like put them in the corner and mark it like this is Ted, and they just put them in the corner. So, but they would like have these buildings would have like 60 or 70 or 100 dead people because they kind of they broke them down like Legos after they didn't leave them whole. You know what I mean? They could have done that, but I guess I didn't.
Does anybody know the years that this thing started?
I just said it before in my opening.
Well, John, I'm sorry, you're a little low from this end, and it's hard to hear over here. But
I'll buff on go with the low. It's in the 1700s.
1789.
1789. That's 220 years of dead people.
All right, so when did they stop putting people there? Do we know that? I would imagine the practice has stopped for a while.
I mean,
that's a terrifying thought. Because what are they doing with the people who it's like, okay, we're not burying him here anymore. Well, you had to because you ran out of room. So now what are we doing with the new freshly dead people if the catacombs are stuffed?
I would imagine with cremation and stuff, it kind of slowed the burials down a little bit. You know what I mean? I mean, most people nowadays are getting cremated. Now they're sitting on Aunt Tilly's shelf somewhere.
Yeah, it's the latest fad.
Well,
I don't know if that's the truth, but we do have urban legends. Let's talk about the urban legends first. There are 5 particular urban legends that the Paris Catacombs have for it. So number 1 is called the Lost Man. One of the most famous legends is that a man who wandered into the catacombs alone never returned. In the 1990s, urban explorers allegedly found a discarded video camera deep in the tunnels. The footage showed a man wandering aimlessly, becoming increasingly panicked as he realized he was lost. The last thing the camera captured was the sound of his terrified breathing before it dropped to the ground. His body was never found. That's a true story. There's sources on it and everything. It's not like it's a film.
No, that's fine. That's fine. First of all, I think that's a very lazy ghost. Like a lazy ghost story. It's the lost man. What happened? He got lost. The end. But number 2, I think he got out because, hear me now, they couldn't identify him in the video. But if you get out and all of a sudden someone found like that tape, do you think he would ever like step up and take credit? Fuck no, he's embarrassed.
Wouldn't you want your camera back?
No, I'm happy to be alive. I was shitting my socks down the fucking Paris Catacombs. I couldn't find my way out. All of a sudden, I see the stars again. Thank Christ. Fuck the camera.
Okay. Well,
that'll be a lost footage movie for, 20 years from now.
I think it's already been done. Horror movie set in the Paris Catacombs has to have already been done.
Yeah, there was the one, I forgot the name of the movie, but it's one with it has these like alien type of slimy creatures that are under it. I think it's just called the Catacombs or something like that.
No, it's called As Above, So Below.
Yeah, there you go. That was it.
Yeah, it's
that was about that.
Yep.
I gotta watch that one again.
Catacombs.
It's presented as a found footage movie, and they're exploring the catacombs. It was loosely based on the Nine Circles of Hell from the Divine Comedy, and yeah, that's exactly where the movie takes place, in the Paris Catacombs.
All right, so the second urban legend is called the Ghostly Whispers. Many visitors report hearing faint whispers in the darkness, even when they're alone. Some believe these voices belong to the restless souls whose remains line the walls, trying to lure explorers deeper into the tunnels to never return.
Sacre bleu.
Asshole.
I think we're going to change the name of the podcast to the Let's Piss Off JC3.
Number 3, Anthony, don't start singing when I say this because I know you.
No promises.
It's called The Phantom of the Catacombs. A shadowy figure is said to roam the tunnels, appearing just out of sight and disappearing when approached. Some believe this is the spirit of a gravedigger who died while expanding the catacombs and now guards the dead.
You're shaking your head, Anthony. What don't you believe about that?
Okay, right. It's the Phantom of the Catacombs. It's a dark figure that disappears. No one knows what it is. We think it's. Why do you think anything? It could be anything. We don't know what it is. They give it. I hate that. It's like
That's why it's a legend, Anthony.
Well, no. If you're like, we see a figure and sometimes he's like holding a pickaxe with a hard hat. We think he's a digger. That tracks. But this is just a black shadowy mass. It could be fucking anything. We don't. But it's like, no, we think it's a digger. Why would you think that? What gives you any evidence that it points to that digger? Maybe it was a tour guide who got lost. Maybe it was some asshole who got buried here.
I think the point of it is called I think. We think.
I don't
That
think
is a
anything.
guess.
I just think
I'm not saying you.
It's a shadow that makes me scared.
I think the issue is, Anthony, you may have a problem with what they're thinking, but do you have a problem with there could be that kind of person down there?
No, not at all. But like, until you give me some reason to think it's that thing, why would I assume it's anything? I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's gonna make me walk the other way.
That's true.
Well, back then, people who dug at night, they didn't want to. That job was frowned upon, so they see people come and they hide. So if it is a ghost of one of those dudes, he's just like, I'm out of sight. Bye.
You got to understand where that's coming from with him. Okay, Arthur is the absolute Steve Canyon, George Plimpton type. If he sees a burning building, he's running into it. Not to save people, just to say he could do it.
You know,
he's very unafraid, and he likes to take, like, he used to come back from Pine Bros and tell me all about the fucking. We saw the stories he told me about the fucking cemetery up there. I'm still having nightmares, but that's just Arthur. And don't deny it, Arthur.
I'm not denying anything, man. I'm ready to go back up there.
Yes, that's great. Well, you're coming out here in 6 months. Let's make a night of it.
Yeah, we should take a trip. Record it.
I'm down.
I'll be in the car, lock the doors, and I'll let you fuckers go ahead and walk through the cemetery. Go ahead.
All right.
I need big lights.
Number 4. This is going to make Anthony roll his eyes because all these make Anthony roll his eyes. It's people believe, some legends claim that the catacombs are a portal to hell. It's said to those who venture too deep may accidentally cross into another realm where the living are not welcome. Explorers have reported strange symbols carved into the walls, leading to theories of occult rituals being performed in secret chambers.
Two different things. Two very different things. I can see the cult rituals. I'm sure there's a couple of secret chambers because that was necessary for a mine shaft to have, someplace to hide when the boss is pissed off. Sure. I can see that. I cannot see it being a fucking portal to hell. No to that. Those are two completely independent ideas. One is more credible than the other.
Well, does it help that
Maybe.
one end of the mine is actually started between two buildings that are called the Gateway to Hell?
No, I know that. That's true. It is, but that's not. Doesn't mean it's an actual gateway to hell.
Snap,
Okay.
crackle,
Did you
pop.
explore it, Anthony?
I'm not even going to Paris. Why the fuck would I want to explore it?
Just
Why the
asking.
fuck why I have to do it? There's assholes on YouTube who do it for free. I can watch them get lost and panic and die in the caverns, and I can just sit on my couch with my popcorn, go, what an asshole.
Well,
I love you too.
The 5th and final legend of the Paris Catacombs is that there are secret societies deep within the chambers. So, rumors persist of secret societies holding rituals deep within the catacombs. In 2004, police discovered a fully equipped cinema and dining room in a hidden chamber, complete with
Told
a
you.
bar and electricity. The group behind it remains a mystery, fueling speculation of cult activity.
When they
Definitely believe that.
Yeah, well, it's true. The police found it. What got to me is it's wired for electricity, which means there's some asshole who's like got a 2-mile extension cord running into some little cafe up top, like Sacre Bleu, we need to make the projector work, or they have a
Is it
generator
always sacre bleu?
because that's what they say. Okay, they're French. What is it, ladies and gentlemen? What's the first thing they teach you in the French army? I have no respect for the French.
You don't have respect for a lot of people.
Well,
should
there
have had a
goes the
stand your ground rule. That's all I'm saying.
there goes the Is This Real Live French tour. We're fucked on that one now. We'll never get that.
Well, I mean, there is a thing for the modern explorations, and I don't even think we're gonna stop this for a break or anything. We'll just go through. It'll be a short episode.
You know what I was
But
thinking real quick? I'm
just
sorry.
cut me off. It's cool.
I will. You know what I was thinking real quick? Like we often talk about like, hey, places associated with death, mass casualties are often haunted, right? And we made a couple of exceptions. Like, I haven't heard of any stories of like something being haunted at the Freedom Tower or out in Pearl Harbor. Like I haven't heard of many
Yeah,
ghost
we talked
stories of
about
Pearl
this a
Harbor.
couple of
Right.
weeks ago.
I was also just thinking like the Paris Catacombs, though. Lots of ghost stories, I'm sure. But what about something like the Pyramids of Egypt, where you got to imagine lots of people died building that fucking thing? Being crushed by the boulders or whatever the fuck. Do we? I don't know. I've never heard of any like ghosts of the pyramids.
I'm sure if you dig hard enough, you'll find it. But the difference with that is you're out in the middle of a hot, sweltering desert. There's not a lot of people out there that are going to be searching for, ghosts and stuff like that.
And I don't think the ghosts want to stay in a hot, sweltering desert.
I think they're more like they like to go to the inner city. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think that's why you're not getting. And it's not tragic what happened there. Yeah, they might have got killed during the thing, but they were nameless people. Nobody,
Hold
at
up,
that point
hold
was
time,
coming out to be
time out,
ghosts.
time out. Are we
They
telling
were Jews?
They were Jewish people who were enslaved by the Egyptians, who were being crushed by big boulders building pyramids. How is that
Okay.
not tragic?
It's okay, Cecil. Calm down. What I mean is, basically, what I'm trying to tell you is, it's not something that happened and made the fucking news. And there was a lot of people out there looking for ghosts and goblins and
Hold
shit.
on. We are an Egyptian time news band. Today, what are you talking about?
Exactly what I just said. I just said to you, there wasn't a lot of fanfare. It was taken as the norm that people were dead. It wasn't like there were stories that were written down in history. Itzhak just got crushed by a boulder. They became nameless. They just became slaves, and no one cared.
That's
so
right.
there
They
was
have no
nobody-
dignity.
That's
It
not
took
what
too
I'm
long to etch it in the walls. That's why.
All of a sudden, we turned into the liberal hour. No,
No, it has nothing to be with the liberal
words
hour.
I'm using. Okay, what I'm saying is, you can literally go to the Freedom Tower, and I'm sure there's ghost stories. I'm sure somebody sitting in the office at the Freedom Tower said, "My printer went on, and I don't understand why." It was the ghost of whatever, they're going to have stories. Out there, there were no stories to tell. There were no witnesses. There were no anything. No one was clamoring from the Jewish community to go find their relatives buried under a boulder in the middle of the Sinai. That's not happening.
So you're saying that? I mean, with that logic, it almost sounds like, hey, ghosts only exist when you go looking for ghosts. Because, like, I'll put like,
Well, if
couldn't
I
there
don't
be-
tell you a ghost story, where you get it from? The Pope?
What,
Well,
what I'm
it's not
saying
even
is,
that, too.
can a place be haunted that no one knows about? I'll give you an example, right? Mongolia,
Sure.
Mongolia during the reign of Genghis Khan. I'm sure at one point he had come down off a mountain, slaughtered the entire fucking village, just mass casualty, hundreds of people dead, and they picked their horses up and they moved on to the next town, right? That town is no longer on the map. No one lives there. They're all fucking dead. What if, like the rules of ghosts, as we know, is if something massive or tragic or sudden happens, your energy gets left behind. In the middle of Mongolia, in a place that no longer exists, there's still ghosts walking around. Is that possible at all?
Of course it is.
but we have no idea that it exists because
how many Mongolians from the 1400s have you interviewed?
Well, I would imagine there's
Has
not many
nothing-
If
left
they're
around.
all wiped out, there's nobody passing fucking information down
has
to the next fucking
nothing-
level.
You
But
know
it
what?
has
Those are
nothing
the
to
people
do
that
with
Elon
it,
was
though.
talking about that they found was
Okay.
still alive.
Okay,
There we go.
that has nothing to do with it has everything to do with tragedy. Just because it wasn't reported on any news cycle doesn't mean tragedy didn't happen.
I didn't say it didn't happen. I didn't say there weren't ghosts. How there's no stories because there was nobody out there to experience said ghost stories. That's all I'm saying.
There's so many more ghosts than we know about because anybody can haunt anything.
Oh, dear fucking Christ. This is so hard with you two.
This is, but as far as the Paris catacombs are concerned, you
This
have
is like a family reunion, man. Sorry.
All I know is each week I go by and I got to get in an argument with two morons, and I don't get paid for any of this shit. Okay? So, you know what? Let's go. It'll make my while. Say, yes, Dad. That's all you got to do.
no, the Paris catacombs each week. I mean, the Paris catacombs are creepy because of the depth of it and how many people apparently do get lost. There are a lot of people each year that do get lost, and these people are called the cataphiles, and these are urban explorers. Some of them do return, as those are the people who you see on YouTube that go into the things. This is all illegal, though. It's like, I mean, allegedly what we did for our Halloween live going to the gates of hell, allegedly, it's illegal. You can't do that. You know, I mean, granted, allegedly we didn't get far, but that's the thing. Like this thing to go exploring in it is illegal. But there are these group of people who they don't know. Like they don't know who these people actually are. Some of them are called the cataphiles, and they go into the catacombs and they go searching, taking video, stuff like that.
So Paris, France does not have. They haven't opened it up to the public yet. There's no guided.
No, they're not
tours.
going to. It's because I guarantee there's some type of guided tours, maybe in one area or a chamber of the catacombs that's not run down.
Mm-hmm.
But I guarantee there's parts of this catacombs that are completely run down and you can't really walk through.
Yes, you can. You can plan your visit. The catacombs are open Tuesday to Sunday. They give the dead Monday off. From 9:45 a.m. fucking weird hours because they're French to 8:30 p.m. and it's always closed on Mondays and certain holidays. You have to book a ticket. It takes about an hour. Number of visitors at a time is 200. They're not wheelchair accessible. Fucking spoiler alert. Yeah, you could. Tours are possible.
It's only $34 to see it too.
Yeah, they have 131 steps down and 112 steps up. I don't know why there's two different number of steps. It's nerve-wracking just to think about.
That is 130 more steps than I want to take.
But you can tour. Now, there are restricted areas. So I guess these fucking dumbasses somehow jump the fence or find a way into the restricted area. What is being so restricted? Unless it's structural, listen, the structural integrity is kind of fucked here, so just don't go there. That makes sense.
Well, going back to what Uncle Artie said at the beginning of the show, this is limestone we're talking about. It's not the strongest stuff. I mean, when compacted and wet, it's very, very, it's very strong. But, who knows how many of these buildings can collapse or how many of these walls can collapse at any given time. And I got another question. If there's miles and miles, somebody or maybe quite a few people have gone to every part of this catacomb. So that's how they had to map it out. Somebody's been in every ounce of these catacombs. They would be the people to
Probably.
talk to. They would be the people to talk to and say, look, you've been in the restricted area. What's in the restricted area? Is it because it's made of limestone and it can collapse at any given time? Or, it just maybe that's 200 steps deep? I don't know. But that would be an interesting thing to talk to somebody like that, because that's pretty good firsthand knowledge.
I don't know. Do you think they took I would imagine if you have a tour, it can't just be here's another wall of bones. There's got to be famous skeletons in the Paris catacombs on display. I think
famous skeletons,
if a famous person who did something. Or
do you think the Paris catacombs has the Hollywood Walk of Fame just lining at the bottom of it?
No, you dickhead. But you can go to a church in England and there's someone buried in that church and there's a stone, whatever the fuck, and you could stand right on his grave type shit. That's a thing.
I guess, but what I would expect, because Paris had overage of dead people, you wouldn't expect it to be like this. This is where we buried the most famous author of the time here. That
Well,
lived
the
in
people
Paris,
that
you
were
know?
buried that collapsed into it, they're going to tell you that they're down there, but they're not going to tell you, we found the skeleton, because you're never going to know. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
like
saying?
you said before, here's Henri. Like, no, they're not going to.
Right.
If they're lining these people's skulls in the catacomb, they might tell you the names of those people. I don't suspect they will.
No, there's a couple of them actually. There's a few like historical figures, but they're like important to the French people. We don't know who the fuck they are. They're not important to us. But like it's people who took place in the French Revolution. I don't know which one because they seem to have one every other fucking week. And then there's other notable figures. So like, yeah, you could visit like famous dead people who are buried in the catacomb.
We're never going to get this episode up in France.
Fuck them.
Anywho,
They wouldn't listen to us just out of spite. They're Americans.
well,
I want to listen to your podcast.
whatever. Let's talk about what this episode is in our season.
Jojo, hold on one second.
Not the fries or the toast.
The whole thing is close to 200 miles long, but the tour where you're only allowed to go into is 0.9 miles. So
Holy
that's
shit.
what they're looking at. You're only
That's a
allowed
lot.
in like a tiny fraction of the entire mine.
Just
Damn,
the
they're-
tip.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. They're playing just the tip.
That's what they're playing. They're playing the tip game.
Oh, dear
But
God.
let's categorize this into what we've been doing each week. So does this fall under, well, number one, if you're talking about 6 million dead people, that's a lot more dead people than any abandoned place we talked about this season.
Mhm.
Besides maybe Auschwitz. I mean, rest in peace. But we didn't really talk about Auschwitz, not abandoned. But does this fall under, or do we believe that it's haunted? Do we believe that it's is just more, it's a tourist trap? Something like that? Like, does it fall under the stuff that we've been talking about each week?
Do you really call a place like this abandoned? Right? Because it's not that it was a thriving community like a ghost town. It's not like it's like the hospital that the tuberculosis hospital we talked about that just like we decided not to close it down, and we decided to close it down and not fucking use it anymore. Like it was a mine shaft, you know what I mean? And then they needed it. It's not like it was designed to be a tourist trap. It became a tourist trap.
Well, that
You know what
goes
I
with
mean?
any abandoned building. Was it abandoned? You're gonna have to say. I personally believe it was abandoned. I don't think it was something that they planned for. Just kind of like through the grace of God and nature. Nature took over, and they had no place to bury these people, so you had to put them down there. I don't think they ever had intentions of having people find out about this. With 200 miles of catacombs, I mean, that's a lot of space. And it's a miracle to me that other parts of Paris hasn't collapsed, that's built on top of this stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's got to be more than one entrance in there. And I'm sure, like these people who study this shit will tell you where they are. But I don't think it, as far as being abandoned in a reason, in the same manner as abandoning an abandoned insane asylum that was built for a specific purpose. This was basically they came upon this shit and they figured they'd seal it up. So yeah, in a way they did abandon it after they had no use for it anymore.
I agree with that. I mean, as far as now, with that amount of death, and I mean, I could see where Dad's point earlier in the show was with it saying it's not really that tragic because these people were dead when they were moved anyway. Like, it wasn't like something caused these people to die.
Right.
And they needed to build a mass grave for these people who were dead. These people were dead and they just needed a place to put them. I think that's the difference between this and maybe a tragic event or a hospital that we've been talking about all season. But you're talking about 6 million bodies. That's a lot of dead and a lot of bodies being moved to being disturbed, and disturbing a grave or disturbing a dead person, if you believe this, can cause ghost activity.
And who found these? Who discovered these caverns in the first place? Like you already said, it was a mine. Now, it was a limestone mine. Is that what it started out as originally?
Actually, a quarry.
It was a quarry. So that means they've been digging, and they were digging for that. It had to be digging there through centuries for this to be that 200 miles of a quarry into a mine. It just, that's a lot of digging. So somebody probably came up with the bright idea of saying, you know what, we got 200 miles of space we're not using anymore. Let's throw these over time. I'm sure it was a couple hundred years. Let's throw the dead people down there. That's my opinion. I mean, take it for what it's worth.
Well, let's just put it like this. Do you believe it's more what the people see down there is more psychological based because it's dark, disturbing, people are dead in there? Do you think that's what it is, or do you really believe there's ghostly activity that's happening down there? So Anthony says no.
No, I'm in the camp where it's just people on the wall. Nothing ghost or weird. Nothing's happening under there.
All right.
I say no.
Arthur, what do you got?
I tend to believe with Anthony. You go down there, it's dark, it's damp, there's bones all around you. People are gonna get freaked out. If there was more shit down there, and there's been 200 years of tourism, you'd be able to look up Paris Catacomb haunting and see more than 5 or 6 examples. So over 200 years, I'm sure there's more people getting freaked out.
Yeah, see, something like this, I tend to agree with both of you, but I also going to leave a little bit of room in there that think these with so many bodies, there has to be some kind of energy left behind down there.
Ghosts. Sorry, go ahead.
That's just my opinion. I think like you said before, psychologically, yeah, it's going to fuck with you. There's no question about it. But you can't deny that so many dead people, and it's not like the people were killed there, so their energy really wouldn't be there per se. But you never know. With so much death down there, there's got to be something. It's got to be. And then,
I'm in the same boat with you. I'm
Ghost
in that
Adventures
boat.
went there. They found nothing, and they got their cameras stolen.
That's amazing because that guy could find a ghost on Easter Sunday in his mother's bedroom. Okay, that's just how fucked up that show is. I mean, when you used to watch Ghost Hunters, they'd go into a place and they'd search everything out. They'd waste a whole hour, and they would tell you, "No, I'm sorry, we didn't find anything. We debunked it." But then again, they came at it with the debunking thing.
They went to go debunk. They didn't go to find.
Right, so they weren't afraid to say, "No, we didn't find anything." When you watch Ghost Adventures, I'm sorry, not every place you go to is haunted.
And they stopped doing. And they stopped doing it across the board in almost every ghost show I've ever seen now. They don't taunt. They don't taunt.
Baggins is a fucking fraud.
Like, they go, okay, thank you. But they don't go after, like, yo, ghost, you a bitch. Something like that.
Joey, that's not very PC. That's not okay. The ghosts are sensitive. They have feelings too, and we all must respect their given pronouns.
Anthony,
What?
it's times like this I just want to reach through this fucking screen and slap you senseless.
You understand what fucking sarcasm is, right?
I understand what it means.
Yeah, we're bred in it. So let's talk about next week's episode. Next week's episode, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Hellingly Hospital. Hellingly Hospital is apparently a haunted location in East Sussex, England. It's known for its history and often as a haunted location, attracting urban explorers. It was a mental asylum. It was called the East Sussex County Mental Asylum, later known as Hellingly Hospital. It was opened in 1903, and then it was abandoned. It's not there anymore. There is what is it? The current state. It is now populated by a housing estate called Roebuck Park. And apparently there has been ghost sightings on that property.
Mm-hmm.
Good heavens, he's gone mad.
So
quickly now to the chair.
You want to sit there and make fun of that. There is more hauntings over in that place over there than I've ever experienced here.
That's because there's more insane people over in England, all right? They still eat fucking beans on toast. They eat like the Germans are still flying
Look, we
over.
just pissed off the fucking French. We're going to go through Europe here?
I'm going through a whole tour. Just wait till I get to Poland.
You leave the Polish people alone, motherfucker.
Yeah, don't, all right? They already went through someone with a funny mustache coming after them, okay?
That's true. They've been through a lot.
All right. So that's next week's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Uncle Artie, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here, and we'll catch you guys next week. Yep.
Thanks, guys.
All right, everybody. Say good night.
Good night, everybody.
Adios, motherfuckers.
Hey, good seeing you, kid. Call me tomorrow.
Remember,
everybody. Are you going to answer?
Everything. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey, fellow truth seekers. Want to take your love for the Is This Real podcast to the next level? Check out our exclusive merchandise line designed for curious minds like yours in mind. From comfy tees and hoodies to stylish mugs and accessories, our merchandise is the best way for you to show your passion for unraveling the mysteries of the fucking universe. Visit our online store at isthisrealpc.com and gear up to explore the universe in style. Don't just listen, wear your curiosity with pride with Is This Real podcast merchandise.
Hey there, fellow truth seekers. Are you ready to dive deep into the mysteries of the universe? Look no further than isisraelpc.com, your one-stop destination for all things mysterious and unexplained. From captivating podcast episodes to thought-provoking articles, our website is packed with fascinating content that will leave you questioning reality. Visit isisraelpc.com today and join our community of curious minds as we explore the unknown together. Don't just wonder, discover the truth today at isisraelpc.com.